Welcome back to Becoming Unbound, the podcast where we break free from the boxes society tries to keep us in. This is a space where we redefine freedom in all its forms, from careers to relationships, finances, and mindsets, and to tell stories of people choosing to live a life unbound. So today's guest is on a mission to help you build wealth that matches your ambition. Tye Aarons helps six-figure fitness professionals master their cash like they've mastered their bodies so they can finally live like the elite clients they train. He's the founder of the MITM Club and has hosted over 150 podcast episodes and created transformational financial empowerment programs that are changing the lives from gyms to classrooms. Tye is leading a movement to make wealth mastery as empowering and accessible as physical mastery. And y'all, he understands the assignment. So, Tye, let's dive in.
Hey, what's up?
I'm so happy to have you on the podcast. It's been a while. We've been trying and we're finally here, so this is great.
Yeah, life's been a whirlwind, in a great way. And so I'm glad that I am here to share time with you now.
Yeah, it's really cool to watch you you've been going through your growth process and watching you sort of oh gosh, how long have we known each other?
And like, are we
4?
are we in 4 years?
4
Has it been
years?
4 years now? I feel
And
like
yeah,
it's been about four.
we've both been on these really cool journeys and kind of doing exactly what we're doing, becoming unbound and figuring out that there is another whole way of doing life. And it's pretty cool to have watched you. And I'm proud to say that we've helped each other kind of in both mentor positions because we've really added value to, our previous careers and the things that we've been doing. So it's cool to be able to take previous career stuff and be able to apply it to new and help friends and community and help the people who truly believe in freedom see that and have it come to fruition.
Yep, 100%.
So I wanted to start today. Maybe we can just tell the listeners a little bit about how we know each other, and you can tell them a little bit more about yourself first.
Oh, so I think I know we met at a music event through a mutual friend. And I know the whole idea around even enjoying that event is like to be more free, right? To be more authentically you. Um, I don't know if I was bartending. I know sometimes I was bartending over there, and I'm always doing like a million and one different things to just like lean into my different passions. Um, but I know that was the inception. After a couple conversations, couple hangouts, we really clicked. And, the rest is history. Really, really helping each other excel, helping each other grow and develop. I'm always gonna keep you on my corner, no matter what.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that exactly, and that's the great thing about community is that we had exactly what each other needed. I had the background in teaching. I helped you had a podcast already going. It was exactly what we kind of needed in the moment, and this is great to have you on today. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So
awesome. It's so amazing.
when you're not podcasting and you're not here, what are you doing?
Yeah, so I've been on a mission to eradicate financial illiteracy across Canada. And it's been an interesting journey because I originally came from the fitness industry. My whole life, I'm like, I want to be a personal trainer because fitness instructors and trainers, when you have that one-on-one with someone, you really have a holistic impact on their lives, right? So much so that I went to college for it. I continued studying, and I opened up a gym. Unfortunately, I opened up my gym October 2019,
Mm.
which is like the greatest time right before lockdowns. like, and I was so excited because my first month I made 10K in my first month, very first month. Second month another 10K. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna be rich. I came from working at a desk job with the federal court, hating my life, to quitting my job, opening my gym, and then starting to make 2-3 times, actually more than 3 times what I was making at this place that I hated. And we just expanded our cannabis yoga classes, got a bunch of people signed up. Like it was going to be super amazing. And the first week that the course is supposed to launch, lockdowns. I had to make a pivot. I had to make a pivot because sometimes you got to switch. Even though I tried to stay in it, I stayed in it for almost the entire lockdowns. I closed the gym 2 months before lockdowns lifted. Can you believe that?
Wow.
2 months. And I'm like, because I was at a point, I'm like, I'm bleeding money. Like, this doesn't make sense. We're too new for the government to care about giving us anything. Where like, there's not really much that I can do here. And it's just draining my money at this point. But the thing is, during lockdowns, a lot of people started asking me about financial help. You see, I've been investing since I was 16 years old, right? I've been in the market since I was 16. I know what to do with my money. I've been paying myself first, which is something that I always teach everyone: pay yourself first, because that's your pathway to freedom, right? Your emergency fund becomes your freedom fund, becomes your FU money to live life on your terms. So been investing, so I was pretty blessed. My lifestyle didn't change too much. And I started teaching other people. I taught 5 friends. They paid me $50 each to sit down in a 1 hour session and taught about finance. It was just 12 slides at the time. And now, let's say going into 4 years later, it's a full on course. So to answer the question, like, what do I do now? Um, we have in-person courses that we teach in community. We teach privately. We teach in the schools. We have online courses like the Money Mastery Dash. That's more so digital. We have the 90-day Lead Your Finances Challenge, because so many fitness people are leaders in their spaces, leaders in the community. And because I came from the fitness industry, we shifted things to focus on trainers. I know what it's like to have fluctuating income. Hey, you make 10,000 one month, you make nothing the next month. You still got to know how to budget properly and make your money work harder than you do. So we shifted to actually helping trainers and focusing on trainers because they are a certain type of pillar in the community. Because as trainers know more about money, they may talk to their clients about money. They start to help their clients in whatever industry their clients are in. That starts to trickle down and affect more and more people, right? That's what I experienced being a trainer. Like I would talk to so much of my clients about just money. So my day to day now, between running podcasts, YouTube channels, we run a weekly webinar every single Monday where we dive deep into different topics. Yesterday, actually, we just had another one of our webinars, and we were talking about how to set financial boundaries, because so many people don't have boundaries when it comes to their money. And the biggest boundary, it starts with you. What is your boundary when it comes to your own money? Instead of saying just this once, it's never just this once. So daily, we're looking for more ways to help empower people, make their money work harder than they do, and keep it flowing.
That's incredible. And I think that is something that so many people, that's probably one of the biggest factors that holds them back, right? Whether it's, you're making great money and you don't want to leave that for a passion or something, or you don't know what to do with it. Maybe you just have this money and you've just sort of closed your eyes to it, and so much of that usually is the thing that's like keeping us stuck, and it's all about mindset. So I find that super interesting, and I love that you're in the schools empowering the kiddos and like really bringing in another level of financial literacy that's on top of even what the schools can provide. Like, I think something so specialized like that from someone like you is just, it's so empowering for kids to leave school and be like, oh, I got this. Like, I have some idea of what to do, versus us as adults. I mean, maybe not you, but definitely me as an adult. I remember like a 30-year-old being like, I think I should invest some, like, I had no idea. Like, I had absolutely
Mm,
no idea. My, taxes were always done by someone. And then, yeah, it's a wild place to not have that kind of information and be armed with that. So it's really cool that
hmm
you're doing that.
Yeah, it's so interesting that even like well, first I'll say, like, so many people have money and don't know what to do with it. It's like, and they're, and people are embarrassed about that. They have money, they don't know what to do with it, but they feel like they should know, but no one told them how to do the thing. But then they don't want to talk about it because they're embarrassed because they should know, right? It's a cyclical thing. I had a client, she had like over $200,000. no idea what to do with it. It's sitting in a bank account, just losing money to interest, to inflation. And I'm like, if you just moved it from this place to this place, this is how much money you would make without doing anything. This is how we make our money work harder than we do, right? The young folks that we're talking to, because we started with grade 12 students because they're jumping off into the world. But the goal is start with grade 12, work our way down to kind of catch everyone before they're gone, right? We're also connected to the colleges and a couple universities now, but they're already in the world. We can't prevent things at that point, right? But preventing, even showing students, well, you chose this career path. How much money is that going to make? If you were to work 40 years, what's your earning potential for your whole career? And that's not thinking about ups and downs and lefts and rights and things that'll happen. And what happens if you follow the golden millionaires in the making rule of pay yourself first 10% and you let that money compound what the market's doing? Like, these are things we're actually showing students so they can find their freedom number. There we are. To actually find their freedom number so they know, like, oh, I want to live this way. This is how much money I need to live this way. My career is looking like this. So I have to save 50% of my income. And maybe I got to live this way for 5 years. And oh, I got to pay off these loans. I was talking to two grade 10 students and it was a career day at the school. I'm like, oh, it's career day. You guys are picking careers and stuff. That's so cool. On the same day, we're talking about financial literacy. Wonderful. And I'm like, well, what careers did you guys choose? Well, they tell me their career. I'm like, well, how much money is that going to make? They say, I don't know. I'm like, wait, but you're picking your career. They're like, well, we know how much it's going to cost to go to school, but we don't know how much we're going to make in the career. I'm like, isn't that backwards? You're just focusing on spending the money and not earning the money. And like, how long would it take you to pay off the monies that you borrowed using that same career going into? Like, what percentage of how much of a need is there for that specific career? Are you going to actually be able to get a job and get a good paying job in that career? Like, all these things that as much as these schools are preparing students, there's a huge gap, huge gap. So we're not trying to go in and, say they're doing a bad job. We just want to help enhance what they're already doing really well and fill in some of the voids, take some stress off the teachers, take some stress off the principal's shoulders, take some stress off the parents' shoulders, right? Encourage conversations. And the more we do that, the more we can empower more and more folks. Like, we're actually encouraging students to talk with their parents about what they did financially wrong when they were younger. So at the end of each session, we have a reflection sheet they can take home and have discussions with their parents and start to say, "Oh, Dad, what's one thing you wish you knew about credit when you were my age?" Right? Oh, older brother, like, what's one thing you wish you knew about investing when you were my age? And they're taking these little tidbits and it's starting to build a bigger picture for them to say, this is how I can avoid this. This is how maybe I can do more of this, do less of that, da, 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 right? But that's my long-winded.
I love it. I love it. And I think it's like you're just walking around handing out sets of keys to financial freedom to people. And that
Yeah.
is nobody gives you that unless you
Mhm.
maybe you do take a course or something like that. So it's really beautiful that you're able to reach all of those generations and you're linking the generations too, right? Because like our parents did the best and there's probably stuff that they wish they could have done better. And I think that's so valuable and that's such a cool piece of little homework to do. I feel like I'm gonna
Yeah.
go do that and ask my parents what they wish they had it done
Yeah.
differently.
I'll send you some worksheets after.
I miss homework.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey friends, quick little interruption because I wanted to ask, have you been thinking about starting a podcast but feel totally overwhelmed? Or maybe you already have one, but the editing, scheduling, and posting is a full-time job on its own? I get it. I was a teacher once, juggling everything and craving more freedom. Now I help people around the world launch and manage their podcasts without the stress. So whether you're dreaming of finally hitting record or you're ready to grow your show into something that actually works for your business, I've got you. Editing covered. Marketing, yep. Growth strategy, Absolutely. It's a done for you solution that's as cozy as your favorite hoodie and as powerful as your story deserves. Head to carlybutlermedia.com to book a call with me today. Let's see if this is a fit and let's make podcasting feel easy again. Okay, now back to this magical conversation. So, Ty, I'm curious. I know you had mentioned that you were in a job, a 9 to 5
Mhm.
kind of job.
Mhm.
Was that the moment where you were like, "Oh, I gotta get out of here"? Like, what was the moment where you were like, "I'm feeling stuck, I'm feeling shackled, I'm feeling bound, and this is not right"?
Well, I can tell you that it started when I was 14.
Okay.
Yeah, it started a long time ago because um, I know some people like Trump, some people hate Trump. I don't really care. Like, there's certain things that he shared that was valuable. So my mom and I used to watch The Apprentice religiously, right? Religiously. And she wanted to do the Trump University for real estate. I always watched my mom do different entrepreneurial things. And what she was doing graphic design at one point, fixing computers. She's always testing out different things, trying different things for her, right? So I always saw that you could make money in different ways. Now, I like to say this is my Fresh Prince moment. I was being a bad kid. I was like 13 turning 14. Very bad kid. So my mom sent me out to live with my uncle out in BC, right? Now I'm out in BC in the Okanagan Valley, right? Working on farms and earning my keep. Now, actually, before I had to earn my keep, my uncle would take care of all the stuff for me. I'd make a bit of money. I get some pocket change. Everything's great. But one day, my uncle, his friend and I were all working. We all got paid at the end of the day. And my uncle's counting out the cash. He gives his friend a number, counts out the cash, gives me a number, and then he keeps the rest for himself. Now, we're picking apples and Roma tomatoes and whatever else on the farms. I know how much each box is. You fill a banana box worth of Roma tomatoes, it's like $3. Okay. You fill this giant box full of apples, it's like $20. Okay. So we're going to rotating different farms, picking different stuff, whatever. And I'm keeping track. I got my phone. I'm tallying how much I did, how much money I should have at the end of the day. Cause I'm like, yo, I want some money. And I'm rushing, trying to make as much money as I can. And I'm like, hey, uncle, I think you counted wrong because I did this many boxes and I should have this much money. And in fact, you guys were chilling in the shade and doing this, that, and the other. And I was working harder. I should have like my boxes. And I'm like, even at the very least, because I know I worked more than you guys today, at the very least, if it's not like I should get my amount, we should just split it 3 ways evenly. I think that's fair. Kind of, you know. My uncle's like, are you sure you want to do that? I'm like, yeah, why not? My uncle goes to his friend. He's like, do you want us to split it 3 ways? He's like, no, you keep your portion, whatever. I'm happy with what I have. Uncle comes back to me. You sure you want me to split it 3 ways? I'll give you a third. That's fine. I'm like, yes, that's fair because it's actually less than what I worked for. And he's like, all right, counts out some cash, hands it to me. And he's like, congratulations. You just killed your golden goose. I'm like, what does that mean? It's like, well, all the gas that I've been paying for, your house that you've been living in. Hey, your plane ticket to get back to Toronto, all the things that I was covering for you, you get to take care of it now. Good luck. And food, everything. Good luck. And I'm like, oh, huh. So I had to start, actually, I got all my money, which is great. I had to start budgeting. I had to start planning. I had to start getting more resourceful. And during this whole summer, now that I have to survive, right, off of peanut butter and I might buy a rotisserie chicken or whatever, I'm being strategic. I made my own money and I started to find my own freedom. So when I came back to Canada, came back to Toronto and I'm going to school, I'm like, I already know how to make money. And I started hustling, started selling little things here and there at school. I started making t-shirts, selling shirts in the schools. I started hilariously making bongs out of, out of everyone's favorite alcohol, even though we shouldn't have been drinking, but you know, found a way to make bongs out of alcohol. I'm selling whatever I got to sell. I'm making money. I started doing odd jobs in the neighborhood, right? I was making over $400 a day doing my odd jobs in the neighborhood because there was a void. There's so many old people that need help that don't have help. And the young person, like, hey, I'm young. I got my Q factor. You guys always tip me well. Go to 3 houses, make a couple $100 for the day just for helping you out around the house. It's like helping my grandmother. This is great. So I started finding financial freedom very early on. I got tricked because my family was like, you need a regular job. I got tricked into getting into regular jobs, and I got a job at a burger shop, barely making 400 a week and hating my life. And then I got the job at the Federal Court of Canada, hating my life. But while I was there, I always was like, but I know how to make more money than this. So before I went to work in the mornings, I would do something like, I don't know, Uber Eats or drive people around, doing Lyft. I'd go to work, and then at night I'd go to the gym and work in the gym. And the plan always was, I'm going to open up my own gym because I know I want to help people as a coach. And once I can help people as a coach and I build up my gym to a certain point, I'll be free to live life on my terms, like I was doing before, right? In fact, I only spent 1 year in high school and then I was homeschooled. I had all the freedom in the world. I was the youngest person ever accepted into the Shouters Youth Entrepreneurship Program. They didn't allow anyone under 19 in. And at 15, I got myself in. I convinced them to let me in. I was making $3,000 a month to build my business as a teenager. Once you have, as a teenager, $3,000 a month coming in, and you go and do something for 4 hours in the morning to build your company, which at the time was Books by Kids for Kids. It's the first company I tried to launch because they took literacy out of the school system. And I'm like, that's not okay. All these poor neighborhoods are going to get messed up. I'm like, Books by Kids for Kids, increased literacy, increased reading. I spend 4 hours in the morning working, and I spend the rest of the day like looking at clouds and thinking up ideas of what I'm going to do to build the business. Like this has been, this has been a forever thing, and never really, I've never been comfortable with with the rat race. I've never been comfortable with regular jobs. From that time in BC was when I saw freedom, and till now, it's like, it's always been chasing the ability to live life on my terms and how I want to, and not succumb to what everyone else is doing.
That's
Right?
wild. That's so
Yeah.
young.
Yeah. It's been a long journey. And for the most part, it's like, I wake up when I want, I eat what I want, I sleep where I want, I do what I want. And I figured out for pretty much all of my life ways to be like, yeah, well, I don't have to work if I don't want to. Like, I could just chill, but we're millionaires in the making over here, and I'm trying to hit that $1 million mark. So I got work to do, but it's self-imposed, you know?
Yeah, the thing that really stuck with me was what you were saying was that you were making so much money and then your family told you to get a real job and you were tricked. And I just think that's such that's everyone just gets tricked to think that whatever they were doing or whatever passion, whether it's like a passion project or you're making money as a mini entrepreneur, like it's never good enough, and we're sort of told that you have to go get a quote unquote real job. And I think it's so interesting, and I think it resonates with me and I guess so many of our listeners, because that is what we're always told. And then why does it feel like a trick in the end? Like why does that feel like we did what we were told and then the
Mhm.
math isn't mathing?
It's not. It's not. In fact, I would say the second moment that really switched in my mind for me was when I was at the federal court doing the thing I'm supposed to do. There's one gentleman named Jim. Okay. Now, Jim is very old. Jim seems like he doesn't have any life left in him. I hope he's still alive and enjoying life and whatever. But at that time, it seemed like 7 years ago, I'm like, Jim, you look like you're about to die right here in the lunchroom. Jim would always come to me and share like stories like, Tyler, you remind me of my son, Tyler. I want to tell you a couple things. Now, if you just put in the work and just make it through 30 years, Tyler, just 30 years, you'll be able to retire, Tyler, and the pension will be so good. And I'm like, wait, how does the pension work? And he's like, I'm not too sure. Like, wait, you what? You don't know how the pension works? So I started asking people in the office, how does the pension work? Like, well, it's 50% of your highest earning year. Okay. I'm making like $50,000 a year right now, and I hate my life because it's not enough money. Half of that when I'm old and inflation? Are you insane? What? And I gotta wait 30 years for that? Hell no. Like Jim was my inspiration to quit that job. Jim, I'm like, Jim, thank you so much. You snapped me out of the trance that I was in, and I will never go back. Right.
Yeah,
And
that's
even the thing of people saying like, oh no, you have to get a regular job. Like to this day, anytime I'm have any difficulty in business, my dad's like, son, come work at the airport. Like, hell no. Like, No, I'd rather struggle and be free than have to go clock in, clock out, and do it. Nah, it's okay. I'll figure it out. Money will come. I'm on my path, and if I go do that, we'll be distracted.
Yeah, I love that point of seeing someone who had done the thing that you were supposed to be doing, right? To get the pension. And I resonate with that so much because I saw all these teachers and I'm like, and they're like, yeah, no, you just got to hold on. You're going to do this for, 50 years and it's going to be great. And the pension, oh my gosh, they kept talking about this thing as like, as a retired teacher, you're going to have the best life. And I'm like, you look semi miserable. It doesn't look like you have the highest quality of life or health. It looks like this job has sucked your soul out of you. And then that soul sucked being that you are at the age of 65, then you're gonna go like relax and do I don't know what. Like it seems like
Yeah,
such a scam.
yeah, it is. It is. I think it's a huge scam. That's why I'm like, no, I'm gonna ride my electric unicycles and enjoy my life right now, and like play games if I want to, and build things. And I'd rather build and fail and say I tried the thing, I learned some new skills. Like I think I'm on business number 9 with Millionaires in the Making. So many things have failed, but I've learned so much along the way where it's like, oh, like, no, that was that. They were all just lessons and lessons, right? Like the fitness app was so great. The fitness app was, it still is the best. At one point, it was like pulling in like 4K a month from a program that I wrote once over like a week and a half over a summer. And I'm like, wow, I put in 2 weeks of work and I'm making 4K a month for the next 3 years and I don't have to do anything. This is great. I mean, lockdown threw a wrench in that too, because then everyone and their dog had a fitness app. So I'm like, damn it,
Mhm.
it's harder to charge, $800 a month for a fitness app. But yeah, yeah, nah, I can't go back to where everyone else is like, hey, just because everyone else is doing it. And it goes to that thing where they're like, if all your friends are jumping off a bridge, would you do it? No. But why is it when it comes to like work, when it comes to careers, it's like, well, everyone else is doing the thing. It's like, does that not still apply now? Like, did we all forget about the jumping off the bridge thing?
Mhm. Yeah, that was a
Y'all's
big
trying to
one.
push me off.
So
But
talk to us about some of those challenges. Talk to us about some of those times that businesses failed or didn't work out. How did that feel and how did that inform you now and your journey towards all of this?
yeah, well, I'd say like for example, when I was launching books by kids for kids, I didn't understand that I was building a tech company because it was all digital. And as a 16-year-old, 15 and 16-year-old trying to build a tech company on a MacBook, I couldn't even make the website. Right. I had all the templates. I had all the writing materials. I had like the idea was actually from my mom originally. She had because she used to when I was learning how to write, and she's encouraging me and my brothers to write more. It's like there are books that have pictures and no words. There's books with words and no pictures. There's full books with pictures and words, and then they're just blank. So there's 4 different templates. You can go in and start to make stuff. And I want to encourage kids to start writing with each other. But I'm like, oh, this is a tech company. I'm over my head. I have no idea what I'm doing. Like I got all this money and I started spending in different places. I'm like, yeah, the logo has to be like this. The logo has to be so good. The logo was so cool. Books BK 4K. Super cool. Like these little letter blocks, 3D hyper realistic. Stupid. Why'd I spend so much money on a logo? It's not necessary. Right. I spent so much money on a laptop to build out the site to then realize I don't know the first thing about building websites. Whereas now it's like, okay, I can build a website in my sleep, you know? But with every failure, it wasn't like I said, it's lessons or blessings. I just learned either you have to pivot or you have to revise and you have to do the thing again. And the biggest mistake I would say was not reinvesting back into the business, not always taking your profits and reinvesting back in so you can scale now. I was always like, oh yeah, I made enough for me to live, so this is good. But not thinking, I need to make enough so that 10 other people can also live. So 20 other people can also live. And then I can scale with those people helping me. And then I'm not doing everything and I can find a new type of freedom, right? I can start to get more time freedom. Right now we have staff members across the world. We have staff members across the world. We have volunteers all over the place. the team has been steadily being built and nurtured, because now at least I that was the biggest thing. You gotta put back into your people so that you can keep moving forward. One of the biggest things, going through all of these different journeys, being able to pivot quick, being able to learn, being able to reinvest in yourself in the business. And I'd say the other thing was like starting to invest in coaching, because I wasn't for so long. Now books are great, and I'm always talking about books. I'm always telling you about all the
You
books that you
are.
should read. Like, I'm like, this book, that book, this book, this will do that. Like,
Every time we come off a conversation, my Amazon cart is just full.
yep, that's how it goes. Because people condense their wisdom into these pages, and if you can, extract the nuggets, then great. Then you save a lot of money on the coaching. But there is an element of actually going with someone, and they can see what's right in front of you, even though you're blind to it, and then help fast track you, and then you're stepping into freedom even faster, right? So I think that answers the question
That's
well.
amazing. Yeah, it's exactly, yeah. I mean, the idea of failing is such a scary thing. Again, another one of those scams that we believe that you don't want to fail, and that, like, in school scared us so much about failing something or failing a test. But it's like some of those failures were the biggest lessons. And that is where things, they did pivot onto the next biggest thing, or you did hit rock bottom and you were not free at all, and then you had to climb your way out of that. And I think it's so backwards that we say, like, don't fail, you don't want to fail, you don't want to mess up your grades. It's like, no, go out and fail, figure it out, do that
Yeah,
wrong decision, ask for that
yeah.
1/3 of the payment for the day and lose your golden goose, and then have your life be completely transformed in that moment, to understand that you can make way more money than anyone has ever told you.
Yeah. Like, fail fast, fail often. I wish that they would encourage. It's so funny. When I'm in the school, I actually tell my students, wait, let me tell you this, okay? Because the last class that I had, this one student's like, oh, he's copying my answers. He's trying to cheat. And I was like, oh, that's not what kind of class this is. In fact, that's very resourceful of you for finding a way to acquire answers from someone else. Because in the real world, you make a lot of money from having someone else do your homework for you. Like, these are things to consider. Not to say, like, go to all your other classes and copy answers. Hey, I'm not telling you to do that. But if you can acquire knowledge, like if you can access someone else's knowledge, you save yourself time. You save yourself time, energy, and money. It's like, yo, I don't have to. I can go play some video games and know that this is done better than I could have done it, right? But then knowing that it's done properly, it's good to have a certain level of wisdom of the subject, right? But yeah, they should tell us to fail more. Like, at one point I lost everything, and I was literally living out of my car, and then living on the gym floor when I first was opening the gym, right? Because I'm like, well, got to start back from fresh. Well, the building I was in, they're like, hey, we're renovating all the units, we're getting rid of everybody. But I had a newly renovated unit, so I'm like, wait, you're not renovating my unit, right?
Hmm.
Until like, no, we're doing yours too. I'm like, damn it, like, I had no plan. Got to pivot quick. But so many times where I had everything, I lost everything, had everything, lost everything. But it's like I bounced back higher than wherever I fell from. Right. I think the first year that I was negative how many thousands of dollars. And then I hit my first 6-figure year with ease. And it was like, I didn't even notice that I did it. Like, it was just like, I was just going through the motions. I'm like, oh, I made a lot of money this year. Huh. That's nice. And keep it going. Like, but yeah, people should fail out fast, fail often, and let that fear go, because fear is your limiting. Fear is your limiting factor.
Hmm. So, if you could describe freedom, like, what does it mean to you? And I feel like on this podcast, we come up with all sorts of different answers. So, how does freedom feel for you? How do you define it in your life? And maybe how does it influence your day to day?
What does freedom mean to me? Freedom just means life on my terms. Yeah, it's like I eat what I want, I sleep where I want, like I travel when I want. if I want. I know right now I don't want to. Like I just want to build a business. That's all I care about. Freedom is just, yeah, it's life on my terms, in every way possible. Like I want freedom in my body. Actually, I'd say I want freedom in all six of my pillars. MITM Club is built on six pillars. So I want freedom within myself, my corporeal form, in my thinking. I want to be able to explore my different thoughts and say, oh, that I like that thought, I want it, or I don't like that thought, and go away. Right? I want freedom in my physical body, be able to move and play and jump and roll and crawl and all sorts of things. Freedom in my finance to take care of myself and loved ones, right? Freedom in my education, so I can constantly learn, acquire new knowledge, new skills, get rid of things that don't serve me anymore, right? Freedom within my family and my friends to be able to make the connections and meaningful connections and expand on them as I see fit, or dissolve some of them as they don't serve anymore, right? The freedom to say I want you in my life, and freedom to say I don't want you in my life. I'm sorry, you can exit, scene left. And then freedom with how I have fun, right? Really being able to lean into that fun factor, because we only have this one life. We only have this one experience as far as we know. Maybe there's more, who knows? But to be able to say, no, I actually want to have fun, right? This is why, like I mentioned, I ride electric unicycles. Thrilling. It's a perpetual trust fall. Like, right? I do all these different things to actually enjoy life the way that I want to, I see fit. So freedom is just life on your terms in every way possible. And I strongly believe there's two ways to go about it. Either you make as much money as possible, because money can be the ticket to living more free life. You know, you want to fly in a private jet just because you can? Great. You got the money to do it, do the thing, right? Or the detachment from worldly things is another way to really live freely. It's like I don't really need to, like I like hitchhiking. Maybe I travel around the world just backpacking, hitchhiking. I don't know, right? But just whatever your terms are, whatever makes sense for you, and exploring that freedom for you. Freedom in the six pillars. That's how I look at freedom. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And I love, yeah, make as much money as possible or detach yourself from all of those things that maybe you thought you needed or society told you you thought you needed, you know? And I think all you, that checklist, like I could get on board with that checklist. I think society's checklist, I checked all the boxes and I did the things and I'm like, oh, no, that's not what I want at all. And that's not what I signed up for. But a freedom checklist of like, am I living on my own terms? Am I free to move, free to spend, free to invest, free to say no? Like, I love that you said that multiple times, like free to say no and comfortable in saying no, because I am free to, let those things, whether it's like material things or friendships or jobs, like free to just be like, oh, that's not serving me. All right. Is it on my own terms? Like, it sounds like you're always checking in to see, like, is this on my own terms? And I think really finding your value set, right? Like that high, I'm gonna sound like an old mom right now, but like high risk electric unicycle that would scare the crap out of me. Um,
Yeah.
but and maybe that wouldn't be suggested because that could be like a high risk situation. But if that feels freeing to you, you are free to do that. Like how amazing.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. That's I'll actually send you my book before it's out. I'm gonna send you an early copy.
Sweet.
But
I
the
love
six pillar goal setting book that we have, it goes along with the six pillar retreats, which is like the retreats that people come on, you start to develop yourself, you start to actually see what you want to make out of life. And it is geared towards coaches. So there's a lot of fitness elements in there. Um, but the book, it goes through finding your why, finding your mission, finding your vision, right? Saying what you want to sacrifice, what you actually want to keep. It goes through all the different, every single one of the pillars and maps out everything. Yes, I know. Millionaires in the Making is talking about finance, but finance, money starts in the mind, right? Money is not real. It doesn't exist. It all starts in the brain. And even beyond, before it comes into the brain and in the ether. So if we're able to actually pull these things together, you understand freedom on your terms and you attune yourself to that reality, right? So I'm gonna send you a copy before it gets published to the world.
Brilliant. I love
And then,
it.
yeah, yeah,
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, it's an interesting concept of freedom, and it can be such a physical thing because whether it is like, like freedom to actually move like where you want to go, freedom in your body, and then it's equally, if not more, in your mind of like freedom is a mindset. Like you can feel free anywhere. Like I've heard people, you can feel free when you're your most trapped. And I also think there's something to like seeing that awareness, being like, okay, you know what? I am stuck by expectations of myself or something, and be like, oh, let me just like open this box, this cage or whatever, and peek out and see what else is there. So that's really cool. And I think that you've hit on everything, like everything that we want to find freedom in. Like those six pillars are fantastic.
thank you.
I love it. I mean, it sounds like your younger self already got this piece of advice, but for someone who's maybe feeling stuck, maybe they have just started to understand that the job that they're in, the relationship that they're in, the mindset that they're in is no longer working for them and they are feeling stuck or shackled. What's the first step that they could take to start to find awareness and then start to become a little more unbound?
First step they can take to find awareness and then become unbound. I encourage people to write down their life story, right? Before it happens. So now you can write the story saying, if this was to continue the way it is right now, then this is what the character will probably experience. It's a vision casting exercise that I get a lot of clients, students that I want to do. Let's cast our vision 15 years into the future and work backwards to this present moment. So whatever's happening, whether it's work, whether it's relationships, whether it's whatever, 15 years from now, write down what would that character be experiencing if it was to continue as is, and then make a parallel timeline. In the ideal perfect world, what is this character experiencing? What did they experience personally? What is their mentality? What is their physicality? What is their career? What is their monetary? There's actually 7 different things you go into. It's building on the 6 pillars, right? And you write it as if it's an actual story. And we say 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, 12 weeks, 1 week. And if the action that you would take this week does not align with that 15-year character that has a potential to exist, then you know that there's a change that must happen. And so it becomes very easy to then make the decision. Remember, this when you decide, you cut off other opportunities. You're not saying, "Well, I made a choice. I kind of just said maybe I will." No, you made the decision to cut off all other options to align yourself with that true vision that aligns with your mission, that aligns with your purpose, that aligns with your why. Why do you even want that? Why do you care? Right? And your why is your wind, because you may be feeling stuck. You may feel dead in the water, but you have that powerful why. It comes along. It's like, here's a little push. There you go. Right? So if they're feeling like they can't get to where they want to get to, you need to find your why, cast your vision, and then take action.
I love it. Everyone has homework now.
All the homework.
Yeah, but that is truly the why is what comes in when you're having that bad day, when you've maybe made a decision that didn't or take you where you thought it would take you, or any of those little trip ups that we have. It's like, okay, if you can come back to your why and it's strong enough, there's the likelihood that it's going to keep pushing you back. And I love that. Like visioning out what your life is now. And if you get to that 15 years and you're like, ooh, yeah, that's not going to work. Your immediate thing to like, let's start, cutting away the things that don't work and moving towards the things that will work. And it could be really scary too, because first of all, you've seen a or the real reality that you think you might have. And then there's this parallel one where you're like, in this ideal. And I think it does come down to your value systems and like where do you see yourself and why are you doing this, is there's two such powerful questions. And I think that is a first great step to start with, because then immediately you're kind of looking into the future. You've created your own crystal ball, and I'm sure it could turn out a million other ways. And to the best
Hmm.
of your ability, this is what could be, and let's make some changes to today.
Exactly. You're like your dreams are possible when you write them down. That's like the long story short of it. Right? Write down what you want. You'll realize it happens without even like it's so funny. I wrote down I wanted interesting pets. I got Sphinx cats, I got keel belly lizards, I got very rare candy female beta. Like I have all these random things in my house now. Like wrote it a long time ago, forgot it was there. Like, yeah, create the reality, right? But yeah, I think that a lot of people, if they just looked a little bit to the future, they would make different choices and it would be easy to make the choices. Very easy.
Yeah. It makes things so much easier, because yeah, when I saw what the retired teacher life was, it was like, ooh, no, nope, no, thank you. Immediately, no, I'm not doing that. No, thank
Yeah.
you. I have to make changes right now. And it meant saying no to things. It meant, and throughout this whole, creating my own business, it meant that people were going to come to me for whether it was like tutoring or helping with, I don't know, stuff in a school, and I had to be like, that's not where I'm going anymore. Like, I had to say, no, you got to leave some money on the table sometimes to really create that vision for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can be hard, but it's part of the game. It's part of reshifting that whole reality, reshifting the reality, the timelines, whatever you want to call it, however you want to say it, you're aligning yourself with the divine, whatever way that you guys look at it, does like all the same thing with different words. But yeah, you gotta let things go. You gotta leave where you are to become who you must, and all sorts of other things. I got all these little sayings. I'm becoming that I'm becoming that old guy with all the little sayings. Just need some gray in my beard, it'll be great.
I love it. All right, Ty. So, you have so much going on. If the listeners want to connect with you and find out where to hit you up on the interwebs and the internets, where can they find you?
So Tye Aarons everywhere. That's TyeAarons. And more and more on YouTube, Millionaires in the Making podcast, or at MITM podcast, I believe. But yeah, where if anyone wants to connect, if anyone needs any like help getting clear on their vision, their mission, if people need help getting their finances in order, then I mean, finances is a byproduct. That's what more, yeah, I know I went all over the place, guys, but finances is a byproduct of what happens in your mind. So that's why we talk about a lot of mentality. But if anyone needs any help, any coaching, you can hit me up on any social media at Tye Aarons, or connect with me via Millionaires in the Making or MITM Club.
Amazing. Thanks. And I will put all of that in the show notes. Ty, thank you so much for coming on here today. I'm so happy that we made it work. And I feel like there has been so many golden nuggets here that we all have homework that we got to go do and figure out what that 15-year-old us from now is looking like. And if it feels aligned, great. If it doesn't, let's make a change and maybe reach out to you.
Definitely. Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Ty. All right, friends. How good was that? Big thanks to Ty for coming on and sharing such practical, powerful insight on building real, sustainable wealth and a life that is full of freedom. I loved that conversation. So, if this episode inspired or lit you up or just gave you that permission slip to take your money game to the next level and your vision for your life to a whole new way of doing things, do me a quick favor, like, subscribe, leave a review, or share this episode with a friend who needs to hear it. It seriously helps me grow and keeps this conversation going. All right, friends, I will see you on the next episode of Becoming Unbound.